Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Hello, and a happy Wednesday to all who celebrate. This is Run It Back. Michelle Beadle, Chandler Parsons, Lou Will. I feel like I'm way too bright for what's going on up here right now.
The allergies?
Yeah, it's killing us. Well, it's not killing you. It's not even a Kleenex in the box. But the good news is we went from no games last night, obviously, to a whole bunch of great games tonight. We're going to get into that right away. We also have World Series championship pitcher Jack Flaherty's on the show.
Still drinking.
I was going to ask, I was waiting, I was like, is he sober?
We should take a shot with Jack.
Oh.
We should take a shot of Jack with Jack. Let's do it. All right, headlines. Yeah, we did have some news yesterday. Wasn't completely without NBA stuff. Joel Embiid officially suspended 3 games for shoving the columnist Marcus Hayes. I know everyone feels the way they feel. How do you feel about this punishment?
I think it's fair. I think you have to take measures when it comes to this, and you can never resort to violence. And Joel knows that he made a mistake here, and he owned up to it, and he was okay with the consequences. He made that very, very clear. So I think it's also a perfect time for him to get suspended, knowing that he's already out. So, so it's not like they're missing, getting double the suspension here. So listen, I think this was tempers flared, but I think you have to be the bigger man when you're Joel Embiid, although I agree with him. And I probably would have done the same thing, but there had to be some sort of suspension. So I think the 3-game suspension is fair. And like I said, it doesn't hurt Philly even more than it already is because he's not playing those 3 games anyway. So it's not the end of the world. It's not like it's an important time of the season, playoff, something like that. So I think it's rightly deserved, and I think he's okay with it as well.
It's a non-issue for me. There was a disagreement. There was a line crossed. There was a shove. A point was made, consequences were accepted, a lesson was learned, and a boundary was set, and Joel Embiid took responsibility for his actions. The team issued an apology. You hadn't seen either of the actual parties involved say anything about it.
I haven't, huh?
And that's that on that. Let's get back to hoop.
All right, fair enough. I think the timing is, he probably wasn't going to play anyways. It almost feels like nothing. You just don't get paid for 3 games, which, again, I think he's going to be fine. Yeah. It's going to work out. We do have a lot of games tonight, and we were just talking before we came on the air about Warriors at Celtics. No Jaylen Brown in this one, but obviously it's a rematch of the 2022 finals, but more importantly, it's the reunion of an Olympic coach and his protege, Jayson Tatum. It's going to be good. I know, Chandler, you said it best. We're watching this one, and we're watching Tatum.
I'll be dialed into this game all night long. And this is a personal vendetta. This means something more. I know it's November 6th, and this game is kind of meaningless in the grand scheme of things, but this is an opportunity for Jayson Tatum to show the world, show Steve Kerr that he made a mistake, and he's had a great year. And again, at the end of the day, it's just one game against a team in another conference. But this means a lot, and I'd like to see him come out super aggressive. I want to see him take 30-plus shots. You mentioned Jaylen Brown is out, so that gives him even more opportunity. There's no such thing as a bad shot for Jayson Tatum tonight, so I want him to be super aggressive. And at the same time, I think his teammates rally around him, which is funny because his teammates are the ones that played in the Olympics, so it's like they have no beef. But I don't know if we're doing a prop party tonight, but Jayson Tatum over the Celtics.
Well, how about
winning,
if it's 35 or more, is that plus what? I feel like
plus 180, I'm taking that. He should take 30-plus shots, which means he's scoring over 35 points. I'm telling you, he needs to go balls to the wall, and I think he will. I think we see a Jayson Tatum that we haven't seen very often.
He's going for 35 plus. Like Chandler just alluded to, we are petty competitors. Whether you're playing against your old coach, old team, whether you and a guy talking to the same girl, everybody, listen, everybody on the Boston Celtics is in on this get back. Trust me, they're going to feed him that basketball to no end because they seen what we saw this summer with him being disappointed and not getting the minutes. Steve Kerr being the guy that everybody blamed for that. This is going to be a fun night. I'm going to be tuned into this one. If I'm a betting man, 35-plus from Jayson Tatum tonight, especially with Jaylen Brown being out.
Feels like easy money.
And the crazy thing is, though, he's going to have to do it against a great defense. They rank 2nd right now in defense, and you got to imagine Draymond Green is going to start on him. And on the other side, he's going to try and prove that Steve Kerr didn't make a mistake. So as much as the Celtics, Jayson Tatum want to prove something, Draymond Green's also a competitor, and he's going to be trying to shut this water off, which is not going to be an easy task.
You think this will be Dre's matchup, though?
I think he's got to be. I think, again, you know how petty we are, and you know Steve Kerr wants Draymond Green to shut his ass down too. So this game's going to be for a November 6th game, the 7th, 8th game of the year. This is unbelievable that we get this
I'm
kind
excited.
of.
This is the first game of the season. I'm actually excited to catch up.
And I don't remember a game where a player and a coach, like like a rivalry, you know what I mean? But this is something where it's so fresh.
Very specific.
It's coming off a career high year championship, and he feels disrespected. He's made that very, very clear. So I think it's going to be fireworks.
But you know what makes this game even better? Because I don't think any of us anywhere in this world had the Warriors at 6-1 to start out the season. So it's also a good game, period, despite all the drama that's in it. And so I ask you guys this, if the Warriors pull this win off, we haven't really talked much about them when we talk about the Western Conference and how we predicted it going out. Where do you put them?
You can put them in a conversation. You know, I think with Klay Thompson's absence, even though they're playing really good basketball, it's still something there that's just missing. Just doesn't feel complete, you know, without the big three. You know, obviously what Curry and Draymond has been able to do this season to get those guys going and bringing in Buddy Hield and all of those important pieces to get them back in a competitive position. They're playing really good basketball. Now, is this going to be sustainable? Anytime you have a Steph Curry-led team, you have an opportunity to compete for a championship. They're showing that, but for me personally, it still just feels like something is missing for the long haul.
And again, I mentioned that they alluded that they're the second defensive rating team, but also third in offense. So they're doing it on both sides of the floor. Steve Kerr has said that this is the deepest team, whether that's true or not.
Y'all called him a liar.
Yeah, whether it's true or not, he's getting production from the bench. I love him. He brought Kuminga off the bench early, and that seems to work. So they're knowing the role. Buddy Hield is having a career year. So this team is, I think they're right there, kind of that middle of the pack, 5 to 8 seed. I don't think they're as good as the OKCs, the Minnesota, Dallas, Phoenix. But they are right there kind of in that next group, and this is a huge step for them. It's early, but this is a huge step on the road against the heavy favorites, the team that everyone thinks is just going to run it back and win it this year. This can kind of put them on the map. Okay, like they're not just 6-1. They just beat the best team on the road. This is a big game for them.
I give them more credit than that. You know, like I said, you got 2 future Hall of Famers still on your roster, right? So I don't put them at that 5 or 6. Like I said, when you get deep into this conversation, when you get deep into the season, let's say Draymond goes out for whatever reason and you got Steph Curry out there with this deep team. Do we still feel as confident about them as we do now while they're healthy? If Steph Curry goes out with another ankle injury like he did earlier in the season, do we still feel as confidently about this team? So,
but they did tread water. They did, what, 3-0 when he was out? Like they
did.
Right.
They're 3-0 them.
But is that? But for me, is that a long-term thing?
Yeah.
Is that a sustainable thing? Is that? Can you give Buddy Hield that basketball to lead you to more wins like they've done already in the early season? Can you give Jonathan Kuminga that basketball and say, go win us some basketball games? You got to give these guys credit to where they are. I wouldn't put them necessarily in a 5 or 6. I'm just worried about if this is sustainable if they don't have their team collectively there.
And for them to have a chance, they have to be fully healthy. They can't afford a Steph Curry to be out for a month. They need Draymond Green. People look at Draymond Green, he doesn't score, he's averaging 6 points. He is so valuable for this team's entire offense. He's the catalyst on defense, so him healthy is huge. You see the career year that Buddy Hield is having right now, a lot of that is playing with Draymond Green and having that knowledge of how to get him open, how to find him off staggers and pin downs, and they're using him just like they used Klay Thompson, and it's working because of Draymond Green, because of Steph Curry. So I think this team is good, but like Lou said, I just don't think they have enough in this Western Conference to be a real contender.
All right, so you just did it. You did the Buddy Hield, Klay Thompson, same sentence, and that's obviously a very easy thing people are talking about. What is something that you get from Buddy Hield, perhaps, that you didn't get from Klay Thompson?
It's hard to say that because Klay Thompson was
fresh start.
Yeah, it's a new face,
fair.
something to prove.
Yeah,
healthy, not coming off an ACL and an Achilles injury, so I think it's a little bit different. But maybe not everyone knew Buddy Hield before the Warriors and playing with this team, but the dude is unbelievable. We were talking back before the show, he already has, more career threes than so many people that you would never guess. So he's been doing this for years. And again, they're using him in this 2-man action. They're bringing him off pin downs and staggers. They're finding him in transition. So they're using him in the kind of very similar role as they did with Klay Thompson, with the 2-man game, with Looney, with Draymond Green. And all the attention is usually on Steph Curry, which gives him even more open looks. And when he's open, he's going to knock it down. He's not forcing. He's not taking bad shots. He's playing within the offense. And he's shooting 50% from 3. I don't know if he can sustain that, but he's been doing this for years. This isn't a surprise to me.
Just maybe to some. And that's okay. The Celtics clearly are head and shoulders above everyone in the East. But I ask you, Lou, just how wide is that gap?
It's a big gap. And the reason why, this team loves to guard, right? They take pride in sitting down and getting stops. Like when you start talking about teams with their identities, who they are, the Boston Celtics are clear about who they are. They love to guard. They love to sit down and get stops. And then on the other end, we'll bust you up on the offensive end because we got the guns to do it. We got the guys to do it. That's what sets them apart. If you are a guy that you get traded to the Boston Celtics or you come over in free agency, it is clear what you're signing up for. We are a 3-and-D basketball team. It works for us. That's who we are. They have a clear identity. I think that's one of the things, that's one of the things that sets them apart outside of everybody else. They're not trying to figure it out. They're not trying to play a different style of basketball. They have a clear brand of basketball, what works for them, and it helps. What, man?
I'm now not going to look at Chandler for the rest of the show. Chandler, do you have anything you want to add?
Oh, geez.
No? Okay, good. Let's just move on to the
No, I think the Celtics are a landslide favorite. I think last year they kind of had this cakewalk. They had some injuries that really helped them get through, and I think the Knicks are going to figure it out. The Bucks and Sixers, they can't get much worse, right? So I think the gap is pretty big, but I think it's teams are going to figure it. It's so early to tell, but things are going to even out. Then, barring injuries or whatever, I don't think they're going to have as easy as a walk to the finals as they did last year. Although the East is not as good as we thought.
It is wonky. The East is very, very wonky right now, and it's early. We understand that. Look, Warriors 6-1, perfect record on the road. Oh, we're not doing that? We don't want to talk? Fine, you know what? I've just been rushed over to the Lakers. I can do that. Fine, we'll do that as well. Lakers at the Grizzlies. 4-3 team against a 4-4 team. AD injured his ankle on Monday. These are not the things you want to hear. Questionable for this one. I guess a simple question, Chandler, is should they just rest him if you have the chance?
I don't think so. And you saw the interview with LeBron after last game. You hear Anthony Davis saying, I'm not out, I'm not hurt, I'm going to play. And they almost LeBron was annoyed at the question because it's obvious how different this team is with Anthony Davis, especially at the clip that he's playing right now. He's elite. He's in MVP talks. He's averaging 30. He's leading the league in scoring. So I don't think they rest him. I think that every win is so important for this team with how stacked and how balanced the Western Conference is. I think it's the 8th game of the year. There's no need to rest. If he's able to play, I think he should play. They just had off last night, so I don't think they should. I think they need to go in there. And this is a big win for them as well. They're coming off a tough loss, and he's playing at such a high level right now. JJ Redick has him in the right spots. The offense is basically tailored to him. They're getting him so many touches on the block, putting him in the two-man game where he can pick and pop and kind of go off the dribble, knock down threes. So he's playing at such a good level right now, and he said on the video that he's able to play. He's going to play.
It is funny, though. Our inclination is to immediately, should they rest him? He injured his ankle. It's also his AD specific, too. I think we're always like, we want to make sure he stays that way. Sustainability-wise, Lou, you heard all the things Chandler just mentioned, where he is in scoring, how he's been looking so far. How sustainable is it?
I think it's there. You know, he's a top 5 player in this league if he's healthy. That if is the major component of Anthony Davis being one of those guys. So I think it's sustainable. Like, yeah, he rolled an ankle and he's limping and this and that, and everybody holds their breath every time any little thing happens to him. But if I'm him, I want to keep the momentum rolling, right? I'm having another great year. I'm off to a great start. I'm in the conversation of being one of the top players in the league again, you know, and he doesn't have the young man tag anymore. You know, he's an OG in this game. He's a vet. You know, he's 10+ years in. He's an NBA champion. So if I'm him, I want to keep this rolling. I want to keep this momentum flying. I want my teammates to have confidence in me to know that I can deal with some adversity on the health side and still be able to be available for the rest of the season. And so, listen, at 32-11-3, don't put that on ice. Keep going. Keep rolling.
And a lot of times, besides the knock on him being hurt and missing time, it's just kind of he floats, right? He disappears in the fourth quarter. He hasn't been doing that. I like this aggressive version of Anthony Davis where he's all over the glass. He's trying to block everything. He's dunking everything. You can tell almost from the jump ball which Anthony Davis you're going to get. And it's been consistent all year long that he's going to dominate. He's going to instill his will. He's been all over the glass. So this version of him is what we thought he would be, you know, every single year in MVP talks, top 5 player, all NBA, and he's showing it this year. And it's never, the sustainable part is his health. It's never been about the production. It's never been about his talent. He is an elite talent that can do everything on the basketball floor. He's just got to stay healthy, and he seems to be healthy.
You know, here's my theory. When you say he disappears in the fourth quarter, he disappears in moments. You got to think for the last 2 years, LeBron James has been on a record-setting mission, right? Whether it's every game, it was a piece of history. Yeah. Whether it was all-time points or Bronny, this and that. I think AD kind of just stepped back and allowed LeBron to have these monumental moments for his career. Now that everything is kind of cleared out and everything that LeBron James is going to be able to do on the floor, it's a cherry on top. You know, we're not chasing history. We're not chasing moments. Now we can settle back into being a basketball team. And LeBron has said publicly, this is the best player on our team. We have to play through Anthony Davis. Now this is the opportunity for him to step back into that spotlight and be that leader that LeBron James and the rest of the Lakers organization expected him to be.
I mean, could you make the argument also that sometimes having these little, distractions, for lack of a better word, also allows him to just go and be a great basketball player? He doesn't have to deal with LeBron.
You know, even when LeBron got the points lead, the scoring title, they criticized him for sitting on the bench. I don't think that was a disrespect. I think that was him seeing what was going on and said, listen, allow this man to have him to have his moment. I didn't look at that sideways at all, but people will make that argument like that, oh, he's having an issue. No, I think this is just his natural personality. Let me step back, let me take a step back and allow the king to have his just due. Now that everything is cleared out, I'll step back into the spotlight and let me do my thing.
But it also goes both ways, too, because when they lose, and it's not going to be the 40-year-old man's fault. It's going to be the guy who they keep saying it's his team and he's the best player. So it's Anthony Davis disappeared. Anthony Davis was inefficient tonight. Anthony Davis got in foul trouble. LeBron James, everything he does at this point of his career is almost just extra and praiseworthy.
Cherry on top.
Exactly, you know what I mean? He's that guy. He's the oldest player in the league. He's been doing it for so long. He's the GOAT in a lot of people's eyes. There's no pressure on him. The pressure is on the guy that they keep saying it's his team they're going to play through. So when they lose, it's on Anthony Davis, not LeBron James. So I understand what you're saying with the media and everything. He can kind of fly on the radar, but not really when it's kind of been so public that we're going through him. He's our guy.
That's the pressure part. All right, let's talk a little Ja Morant, because he's been fantastic to the start of this season. 21, 5, and 10. He's got highlights every single night. We even got a nice little, 360 layup.
Insane.
Big deal. That was on Monday. Lou, where you got him on the most exciting players to watch list?
You got to give Ja credit. Since the day he's been in the league, he's been one of the more electrifying players in the association. How fast we forget about his troubles and everything in the past. You know, he's turned a new leaf.
That one.
And he's exactly, man.
Isn't that real?
He's turned a page. He's back in the conversation of being one of our young superstars in the league. So when we talk about electrifying, I put him in the same category as an Ant-Man, as a Luka, as a Trae Young, as a Paolo, a Jalen Williams, as a Wemby. You know, when we're talking about exciting brands of basketball, I left out SGA, Tatum, and Brown because they got more of a no-nonsense style of basketball play. Those guys that I just mentioned, they play at an exciting rate. They play above the rim. They play fast, and they're entertaining. And Ja Morant is one of those guys. He's, if not the guy, next to Ant-Man. So I'm excited that he's back on his feet. He's back doing his thing. He has Memphis electrified again, and he's going to be one of the best players in the league.
When I think of like Michael Jordan, I think of his highlights, and I think of the right hand switch to the left, right? I just saw 3 plays from Ja Morant.
What was that?
And at the end of October.
You're about to start a completely different debate.
No, it's not even a debate, but
no, I'm on your side.
He'd get arrested if he did that back in the day. Like, you know what I mean? Are you insane?
And
these 3 plays right here.
This is going to start a different debate from the eras of basketball because he's doing.
You can't. I'm not saying one's better than the other.
Yeah, he's doing these things on a normal
that
in the 70s, 80s. Are you kidding me? It's never like that.
It doesn't look. It looks like a video game. Like it doesn't.
He is a video game.
The top 10 plays of that was like it was like a behind the back pass.
He would be the top 3 every night. In one game.
It's not even close. Yeah, he is. He is so exciting, so explosive. I don't know if you mentioned Anthony Edwards or Zion, those guys, but they're all the same to me. They're so athletic, they're so fast, and they do things like that.
Where did you go when I was talking for the last?
You named like 12 people. I forgot.
Still thinking about the first part.
But those 3 plays, he's got the crowd for me. Those are unbelievable.
But he's a showman. I think he's a showman, and I think Anthony Edwards is a showman. Whereas I think, like what you said, SGA is amazing, but it's more sort of strictly business type style. So yeah, it's ridiculousness. Both teams have tough losses that they're coming off of. Grizzlies tonight are a 1.5-point favorite at home. Take a pick, any pick.
I like Lakers. I like Lakers plus 1.5. I think they are the better team. They're the older team. They're rested. Nobody played last night, so there's no. And I think Anthony Davis' ankle is just fine. I like the Lakers tonight plus 1.5.
Interesting.
You know, Lakers usually put on a show in Memphis. I would usually give them the nod, but I love the fact that Ja Morant is back at the helm of this Memphis Grizzlies team, and anytime he's on the floor, he gives them a great opportunity to win basketball games. So I'll go with the home team. I'm going with the Grizzlies.
You know, they were just chilling at the Westin last night. There was not much to do.
Don't do it.
No, I'm just saying, they're going to be ready to
What are you doing?
play.
Why? Because there was nothing good to do in Memphis?
You said it.
That's
You
interesting
said
that
it.
you
Shout
would
out
say
to
that
the
out
Black
loud,
Haven
Chandler.
Zone.
Like, let's move on to the next game. Thunder at Nuggets.
Doc Holiday, how you doing, baby?
Here we go.
About that.
I missed it. I haven't heard from him this season yet.
Well, now you will.
Well, now you will.
Thunder will be in Denver. They obviously have started undefeated. You know what? The beginning of the season, I would have been a little more stoked for this particular game, but I'm not as much. Do they remain undefeated? Or does Cleveland hold on to that crown on their own?
I think they keep it close. If we're going there, like if I was a betting man, I would probably take Denver plus 7. Although Aaron Gordon out is not good for them. The time. It's like the new shiny car against the old antique, which I didn't think that would be the case before this season started. I thought it was just going to be two really good teams playing against each other.
What kind of antique? Like a Geostorm or like
yeah, sure. Okay. Just one. Yeah, it's just on its way. It just feels like it's on its way out. I mean, this is a team. There's a lot of questions, though. Like, I hear that Hartenstein's ramping up. He's going to give them a dynamic that they haven't really had with just an absolute bruiser down low who can... Hartenstein, when they have him, they have those 15 to 20 minutes to battle against a Jokic, a Joel Embiid. Chet, I'm interested to see how Chet plays tonight against Jokic because those are two different styles, two different bodies. So there's a lot of questions in this matchup tonight. But OKC, I think, is just they have too much. They're too young. It's not often that you see the best team in the NBA or one of the best teams is the youngest, one of the youngest.
I love it.
So they have everything. They have depth. They have youth. They have skill. They have stars. They have defense. They have it all. So I do think they're going to win the game, but I think it's close. So I would take Nuggets plus 7.
Yeah, I like the Thunder tonight. You know, last year, whatever uncertainties we had about them being young, being youthful, being inexperienced, they put all of those things to rest. And now they're coming back even hungrier, even a better basketball team. I like Oklahoma City. I think they stay unbeaten for a little while. You know, their next 3 games, Denver, Houston, Warriors. I like them tonight against Denver. I think Houston will be a good game for them. I think they win that one as well. Warriors will be a challenge, but with the way that they're playing, you got to give them credit. I think they go into next week 10-0.
That is an interesting next 3 for them because since we're watching the undefeateds, the Cavs' next 3 is Pels, Warriors, Nets.
I like them. Listen.
I looked at the Cavs schedule for the next 15 games. They could legitimately win 12 or 13 of them. Like when you pull through their schedule, it is nuts.
So what is the record? Was it Golden State that started out with 28-0 that year?
Something with 73-9 or something.
That was the big one. So I mean,
it's just
Boston Celtics were like 24-0 before they lost one back in the day.
I don't know, man. If I had to pick, I think I'd go OKC is going to continue to be undefeated. But it's just crazy that. Think about a team right now where they're so good and their future is even better. Like, when does that happen? Like, it's crazy the situation they have, but this is an impossible game. I guess I'll take the Cavs to lose first.
And you know what? It's easy to take your foot off the gas when you know the future is so bright. Like, this team is living in the moment. They're in the moment. Like, even though we keep alluding to it, they don't care about the future. They don't care about who's coming in. They're not worried about anybody coming in to save them. What pieces can you add? Who we can get for these draft picks? They don't care about any of that. They feel like they have enough in the building right now. That's what I love about this group.
Do you know why I love that so much, too? Because they are so young, and we tend to sort of write it off as, oh, it's not your time yet. You're too young, this, that, and the other. If I'm them, I'd be looking at it like, yeah, we are young, so why not start an empire now and get this dynasty? Because if you're that young and you have this many years to go and you go ahead and win one this year, sky's the limit.
And again, much as it's fun right now, the NBA is a business, so who knows who's even on this team in 2, 3, 4 years. So they should live in the moment right now, and in the moment right now, they are very, very good and a contender. So it's just special to look at how good their future is and how good their present is, but they're unbelievable, and I think they win the game tonight, but I think it's close.
And they're bringing back that hard-nosed NBA basketball. Like, how many times do we watch Oklahoma City play and somebody's diving on the floor?
Yep.
You know, that makes a coach go crazy when a guy is diving in the stands. diving on the floor for loose balls. Every possession matters to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it starts at the top. SGA is one of those guys. Chet Holmgren is one of those guys. Jalen Williams, they're one of those. All of these guys are willing to put their bodies on the line, take charges, do whatever it takes to win a basketball game, and it trickles down to everybody else. We talked about the Boston Celtics having a clear brand of basketball. Oklahoma City does as well. So, listen, if I'm them, I feel like I can go on a run. You know, like Chandler just mentioned, can the Cavaliers win 13 out of the next 15 games based on scheduling? I think the Oklahoma City think that no matter who's in front of them.
And I do feel like this team, the youth of this team, they're together. You know what I mean? I feel like there's no egos with this team. There's nobody that does anything different. There's nobody that, you know, I think they're a team, they're collective, and
they like each other.
Yeah, it's like it's just refreshing to see this team kind of all on the same page. There's not that couple vets that are different, that ride a different bus, that wear. I feel like everyone is on the same page here. You know what I mean? There's zero distractions with this team.
Well, and you already had Draymond mocking the barking thing that they do. So that's going to be
gotta
fun
love
when they
it.
play them. I'm already here for that. Chet Holmgren, obviously amazing. You guys have mentioned him a few times. Averaging 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, 3 steals a game. Right now, currently sitting just second behind Wemby for Defensive Player of the Year. This is a rivalry, whether Lou wants to admit it or not, and it will be for as long as these two guys play. What do you think about him as the possible Defensive Player of the Year?
I like those odds, plus 290. Listen, I think the correct answer is Wemby. Obviously, the things he does is nuts. I just think when you look at this team at the end of the season, and you look at the San Antonio Spurs at the end of this season, we're going to be looking at a top 5 defense in the NBA and a top 2 team in the NBA. At what point do we reward that with the Defensive Player of the Year, Chet Holmgren, on the team?
Well, you didn't reward it for Rookie of the Year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So where, again, it's kind of a question for the voting. Like, what goes into this voting? Is it just the individual stats? Is it what you see with your eyes and with the things that Wemby does that we haven't seen before?
Well, was Rudy Gobert always on great teams when it was Defensive Player of the Year? I'm not talking about most recently, but
good teams, but
they
not
were playoff teams.
Not bottom 5 teams like the San Antonio Spurs. No, I'm just saying there's a difference.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
But there's a difference.
It is what it is.
Huge difference.
Premature to assume they'll be bottom 5. I just want to throw that out there.
I'm just saying there's a big difference in a player putting up stats on a bad building team or a player putting up stats on the best team.
I do think the value, because you said the Rookie of the Year thing, I think the value of the win-loss record is greater when you're talking about Defensive Player of the Year versus Rookie. Rookie, for me, feels like its own little insulated
rookie, you're on the bad team. There's a reason on your team.
But you're a rookie.
You're going to put up numbers. That is, I think it's more impactful to be the best defensive player on the best team, especially if they're a top 5 defense.
All right, let me ask you this. You've seen the spread there. It was 7 points. Oklahoma City has won each of their games, though, so far by 12 or more points.
That's also crazy.
That's insane. P.S.
Waxing people.
Does Denver keep it close? Chandler.
Yes, I love Denver keeping it close. I think this game's going to be tight. I think 7 is a lot of points. It's a lot of points. At Denver, tough place to play. My least favorite place to play ever. Wow. I think the game is close, but I do think the Thunder pull it out.
I'm sorry, DJ. He'll probably call me after this show. I don't think they keep it close.
Damn, that was
it just looks
like they run them out of their own gym.
It looked like the train is off the track.
What are we talking? Let's put a point on it. What do you look at?
The average is 12.
Yeah, you want more?
So why not? Why not?
So more than 12, their usual average.
16-point win tonight.
Oof.
Okay,
I'll make it specific.
That would be devastating.
Sorry, DJ.
Devastating.
Devastating.
Call the season over devastating?
Chalk it up.
My goodness, you heard it first. What are we even talking about? Jack Flaherty is standing by.
Hey,
believe
Jay Flair.
he got you to get up this early. This is impressive.
Champ is here.
He's joining us next.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back.
This is a treat. Just fresh off of his World Series win, and what a win it was. Jack Flaherty of your Los Angeles Dodgers joins the show now.
Congrats, Jack Flair. Thanks for coming on.
I don't think that's ever going to get old to hear.
Oh,
No, forever.
Yeah,
the rest of your life.
It's engraved. That's how you will be introed for the rest of your life. My first question, you look great. Are you still drunk?
Good start.
No. That ended on Monday. But it was a good run.
Monday was the breaking point where alcohol just didn't look or sound any
Tastes
appeal.
bad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how it went.
We were talking about it before you came on, and we've seen a lot of the videos. They're circulating. Who was the most lit at the parade? We saw the interview with you and Oro not being able to stand up was my favorite.
My favorite.
I know Walker was blasted. Kershaw was blasted. Give me
Dave Roberts.
Give me number 1.
I think you've hit all the guys on the list between me, Walker. I think Kike too.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said he forgot a little bit of his speech that he gave the other day when he was on the mic, because his speech was incredible. But you got it. It's probably one of the four of us for sure.
Now, there is a video of you giving OHTANI some tequila at the parade. And I'm no alcoholic, or maybe I am, but it looks like he had never drank before, Jack. Is this the first time you've seen him drink?
No. So that's the thing is, so after every series that we won, we would take a tequila shot as a team. And
I like it.
I always ended
shots.
up, it was always time for a shot, and but I was always next to Show, and we would take our tequila shot together. So it took a lot of convincing that day to get him to do it, and eventually he finally did.
You could see him kind of loosen up a little bit.
Did you ever do that? Plan
Get
a
on
shot?
the mic.
Oh, win or lose, we booze.
Listen, one or two things are gonna happen. Either we're gonna drown in sorrow, or we're gonna celebrate our win. So
either way,
we're
you're
drinking one way or
These
another.
are these are all problems you're describing, by the way, just for the record. Okay,
There's a hotline you can call
I was
right
gonna say,
now
I
if
feel
you
like
al-
these
if
are
you
cries
also
for
have a
help. So happy or sad, we're all drinking. Do you remember all of it? Like, were there?
Yeah.
And I mean that genuinely, or do people say, "Oh, do you remember when you did this?" and you don't remember that part?
No, I actually do remember all of it. I remember all of the parade. I remember all of the parade. There was one moment that I did not remember, which was my mom actually taking God bless.
That's my favorite. So we're gonna run that on a loop.
It was my mom taking a shot of tequila because she doesn't drink tequila, and I saw a video of her doing it on my phone afterwards, and I was like, I forgot about this, and then I was like, that's what sparked everything. Was she did it, and I was like, this is incredible. So
This is it.
we started passing it around.
It's unbelievable.
So good.
Jack, we got to talk about your coach real quick, Dave Roberts. He was up there with Ice Cube, and it looked like he had some tequila too. He was having himself a time. What was look? Let's check him out. Look, back it up, coach. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Stop doing that.
That ain't it, coach.
Just let
That
Doc
ain't it.
be Doc, man. He'd been through so much that, at this point he could do whatever he wants. Let the man be. He was, hey, we'll work on that. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on there.
Look, I know you said you guys stopped drinking, but listen, I'm sure the perks are coming in by the boatload. What is the biggest perk so far of being a World Series champion?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't. Shoot, that's a good one.
You probably hadn't paid for food yet.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Well, you would think so, but
It actually doesn't work like that, funny enough.
It's funny. We went to dinner. We went to dinner last night with Joel, and the workers they wanted pictures, and whatnot. We kept saying like, yeah, it's fine as long as we don't have to pay. But Joel still ended up paying for dinner, so we tried to get out of it, but it didn't work out that way.
Figure that out.
I will say, Jack, I think one of the coolest things, and this happened before you even won the World Series, was you getting your own smoothie at
Here we go.
EREWHON, which, if you know, that is a big deal. So what is that process like? The smoothie's delicious, by the way. I sent you a picture of it. It's
What's
fantastic.
happening?
I don't like bananas or coconut cream, but my God, that
sounds
thing
good.
slaps. What's that process like? Because that is awesome.
Yeah, so we make the World Series, and I just happen to know. So one of my best friends, their family friends, they run EREWHON, and I happened to hang out with the family's son with just as a group the week prior, and so my friend's little brother texts me and is like, "Hey, EREWHON wants to run a smoothie for the Dodgers. Like, would you be interested in doing it?" And I'm not gonna say no to that. So a little bit of just right place, right time, and knowing some of the right people, and go in, got to do a whole they asked me what we want to put in it, and I'm like, can we make it taste good? We go through some bananas and some protein, and go in, try it, and do a little. It was like an hour shoot, but
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wait, so it's you and Hailey Bieber. Who are the other? Are there others?
Frankie's Bikini has one. There's,
of course, yeah.
I don't know the list, but
That's not bad.
I'm on a short list.
That's a very good
yeah,
short
it's
list.
a short list.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is a huge honor. I'm not kidding. A boy could only dream to get one.
Obsessed.
He has it all. Jack, now you're a free agent, and you told the whole world you want to come back. You kind of blew your wad there in negotiations, but obviously you you want to return to the Dodgers and run this back?
Look, whatever ends up happening happens. It was I've obviously grew up here. I got having the chance to come here and win a ring was I still have no words for it. It's been so special, and even seeing still the love around the city from people is unbelievable. But whatever ends up happening happens. It's I've enjoyed my time here. If I'm back, I'm back, and if not, then I'm looking forward to trying to win a ring wherever I end up.
No, that can't happen. That can't happen.
To not bring you back.
I think one of my favorite moments, the San Diego series, was spicy, and that was the whole playoffs were fun, but that was a fun series to watch. And the moment that you got Manny Machado out, and I'm looking at you now, and you're nice, and you're soft-spoken, and seem very sweet, Jack, but the words you were mouthing in this moment don't seem sweet to me.
Yeah,
Take us through it.
Yeah, I went through this. I talked about this like a couple of days ago. Those words normally they're just kind of running in my head as I'm pitching. And look, it was a big spot in a big moment in a big game. And Manny to get him out in that spot where that was going on was one of those that it all just came out. And he's an ultimate. He's a huge competitor. I'm not surprised he didn't take it too kindly. By all means, he should be upset that those words came out, especially right there. So, it kept going on afterwards, and you can't really hear what anybody's saying at that point. You're too far away, but he's gonna compete. He's not gonna let somebody say that to him, and we kept going back and forth because but it just, things happen.
I wish that series was 12 games.
And
that would have been nice.
I got a side question too, Jack. So as much as there's trash talk and all that, a guy like Soto, when he does the Soto shuffle as a pitcher, is that is that funny? Is that annoying as shit? How do you take that as a pitcher? Is that part of his mental game?
It is, but you can see it when you throw a good pitch. He'll nod at you, and he's like, okay, you're coming with it. I got you. And so he's for me it's fun to compete with him when he's like that and he's locked in, because it's tough. I mean, it's tough to get him out. He's one of the best hitters in the game. He's gonna go break the bank in free agency. But for me, if you don't like competing with a guy like that who's trying, he's got his own mind games and he's as confident as they come, then it's going to be tough to get him out. So it's really a head nod competition back and forth. He takes a good pitch, I make a good pitch, and you just keep going.
I do as much as the shuffle, I do the flowers too on a good pitch.
I know.
Awesome.
There's respect. Yeah. It's a nice respect thing. Tell us about Shohei Ohtani. I mean, he's just everywhere he goes, the crowds are ridiculous. This was such a big turnaround for him, going from the Angels to an immediate World Series championship. What's he like to be around to play with?
Well, he's just one of the dudes. And, after we got done, we told him, we told him, Sho, it's this easy. First year you come over here, you're 1 for 1. Now you gotta do it 9 more times. But he's really one of the dudes. He shows up, he works hard, seemingly harder than everyone, because he's doing his Tommy John rehab and throwing, and then he's still got to go hit, and puts up one of the greatest seasons ever. And then, he's the biggest superstar in baseball. He's got all the media around him, and he's the biggest superstar in Japan. So the fact that he's able to do all that and keep himself just really level-headed all the time, and then, still just he's just Sho. And I was lucky enough to play with him and in awe of him every single time that he came up to the plate and the things that he would do.
Is there something that you saw firsthand, obviously being his teammate, that's just different? When I play with a pro golfer, the sound of it is it's different. And I saw him in person. He's a big dude too. He's way bigger than you think.
Yeah, he's way bigger than you think. And that's like, look, I mean, we've got him, we've got Mookie, we've got Freddie, and then you also see the other guys around the league. But when the ball comes off his bat in game, and it's every single one of his home runs was like a no doubt. The ball sounds differently coming off his bat, and even his outs. This will be more of like a baseball number, but his exit velocity, whatever, it felt like he was hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour, and that's top tier. Like, and it was like you just wanted to try to make him hit the ball softly, and he doesn't. No matter what it is, every single out he hits the ball hard. So that's what's different. He hits the ball so hard. He hits the ball harder than anybody.
What's he like as a hang? Because, he's obviously seems kind of quiet and stoic when he's at the bat, and he just doesn't even change his facial expression. Like, does he go to the birthday parties? Does he pick up tabs by any chance? Like, what is what's his deal?
He better be paying $700 million.
Picking up all the tabs.
$700 million, pay for the jerseys.
Everything.
We did a dinner in New York during the Mets series. We got in. Happened to be my birthday, but it was a team dinner that we were doing, and Sho came. Him and Yamamoto both came. We did another one. I don't know if he came. I don't know if he didn't come to the one before we played the Yankees because he just dislocated his shoulder.
Oh, right.
But he picked up the tab when we went to New York. He's as chill as they come. Speaks really good English, which is impressive for the amount of work that he's put in since he's been over here. So he's somebody that, and he's always, even during games, like he's never nervous. I asked him before, I think game one, like first playoff game, I just asked him, like, Sho, are you nervous? And he goes, no. And then he points to Yamamoto, who's pitching that game, and he goes, he nervous. Like you pitchers are nervous. Like, I'm not.
By the way, baseball team dinners are a lot more expensive.
Right? There's a lot.
I can imagine.
25 of us.
Jack, I want to ask you a hoops question really quick. You're an LA guy. You're a Lakers fan?
Yes.
Why not Clippers, man? What's going on with that?
If you grew up in LA, you didn't grow up with Clippers. That's just,
absolutely.
You weren't growing up during that time, and this is because like the Clippers, they had some guys running that were coming through, but it was hard to grow up here and not be a fan of Shaq and Kobe. I was still really young, but it was hard not to be a fan of that was going on. So. Maybe it's because they're winning. You can call every single one of us bandwagon fans if you want, because we, like all of us young guys, because we hopped on the train when they were winning. But
not your fault.
As long as you're still on the train right now.
Exactly. I'll never get off it.
This has been awesome. I appreciate you doing this, Chandler. By all means.
Thank you so much, buddy. I hope they re-sign you. We need you. You deserve it. You're going to get a bag this summer, my boy. I'll see you real soon.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy it.
You guys. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, some hoops. Just some hoops. We got to get you an EREWHON, Smoothie.
Please.
Kevin Garnett, I do love when sentences start this way. Kevin Garnett recently said that Derrick Rose deserves a statue in Chicago. I'm only laughing because of recent history, Lou. Are you buying that?
I'm buying that.
Is that punishment though to get a statue these days?
I think we should take a break.
No, listen, I'm buying. And I say that because Chicago statues are Chicago statues.
I mean, they are better.
And when you talk about Derrick Rose, since Michael Jordan, no one has electrified and united the city of Chicago the way that Derrick Rose did and had the impact that he's had. So when you talk about statues, the world can feel however they want to feel about it. But Chicago, Illinois, Derrick Rose absolutely should get a statue. And if they decided to give him one, I don't think there will be many people in the state of Illinois to.
And we get a good artist. We get the artist. Maybe the artist that did the MJ.
I'm buying that. Yeah, I'm with KG on this one. I'm buying.
And no doubt, I think he gets it. And people debate if he's a Hall of Famer or not, which that's a whole other argument because he had the 4 electric years. But what he means to that city, that organization, born and raised in Chicago, 1,000%. Give that man.
It's just triggering. You have to understand we're all suffering from PTSD when the word statue
like when he got hurt, remember that when he first got hurt, that arena was like the whole city was like quiet.
Sad.
Like, it was that's how much.
Because he wasn't even supposed to be in the game. They were whooping our ass.
Yeah.
That's never a good one. Austin Rivers said that Karl Anthony Towns is more skilled than Nikola Jokic. Woohoo! You buying this?
I'm not buying it, but I understand what he's saying. I think he's talking about the fluid, the kind of the game, the kind of his game is sexier than Jokic's, but it's hard for me to say it's more skilled. Like,
and it'd be weird if he said it's sexier then.
Yeah, that would also be weird. But it's
it.
also like I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are more skilled than me that never made the NBA that played in Europe. That what is
well,
you know what I mean? So that I don't agree with, but I understand. Cat can shoot, he can do it all, he can handle, he can play pick and roll. But so can Jokic.
It looks more fluid.
It just looks, I guess, better. Is that what he means?
I think Cat is more skilled, but I think Jokic is more impactful.
Like Cat has a deeper bag, you know what I mean? Like he's got more game.
When you talk about skill, when I think of skill, I take it back to the playground. I take it back to the grassroots of basketball. Like, can you shoot? Can you pass? How do you run? Is Cat a more skilled guy? Absolutely. I think Jokic is more impactful the way that he approaches the game. He doesn't try to go out and be the best shooter. He tries to get the ball to the best shooter. He doesn't try to be well, he is the best passer, but he makes sure he puts guys in a position to be successful outside of himself. I think that's what sets them apart. So if we're just talking skill, I'm buying.
This argument, I think, is like saying Kevin Durant's more skilled than LeBron James, which is which he probably is. Is he a better basketball player? No, but is he more skilled at certain things? Yeah, he is.
Okay, I'm kind of buying that. I get that. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna preview game tonight when we come back.
Run it back, run it up.
We got a big old return tonight. Paul George is in the city right now. We'll play his old team, the Clippers, tonight. There will be a tribute video from highlights of all 5 seasons that he was here. Do you have a defining Clippers moment, Lou?
No.
Uh-oh. I love that. That's
No, and I'm not even. You just caught me off guard because that'll have to be something that I really think about. But he should be celebrated. He should be honored tonight. In his short time here, he changed culture. He changed the way that people looked at the Clippers and the Clipper fan base as a whole. And so for that, he should be celebrated. But just one moment off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
Does he get a statue?
No more statues.
I don't know statues.
Well, have you seen the new building? There's plenty of space.
I'm actually supposed to go to this game tonight.
It's stunning.
And you know, when you go and play against your old team, there's some extra. There's some extra there. So there's a lot of little headlines within the game.
And it's still fresh.
It's still fresh.
Real fresh.
They could have.
He also,
this
is his second game playing.
He didn't necessarily want to leave like this. So this is. I'm excited for this. I'm glad he came back. And again, Paul George is a generational talent. I look back to that 2021 run where he led the conference finals and ended up losing to Phoenix. He had so many good games, so many game winners. He's a hell of a player. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I love Paul George. So I'm excited to see what he does back at this new arena that I thought they were building for him.
My God, it's crazy. Who are we picking for tonight? These are interesting. 1-5 Sixers, 3-4 Clippers. They got their first win at home the other night. Go.
Clippers -1.
Clippers. Okay.
Got to go with them.
I'd say Clippers as well.
And by the way, I'm not panicking on the Sixers yet. I'm panicking once they're fully healthy and all playing and losing.
And then losing.
If they're healthy when Joel and Paul George are on the court and they're still playing like this, that's when I panic. Right now, they're still got to get everyone. They still got to get their team that they have.
Sometimes the drama, though, it just feels like it's heavy.
It's exhausting.
And they got a lot of it surrounding them right now. So if they can at least they're on the road, just get some of that out of their systems. That'll be fine. Yeah, I think the Clippers get their second win at home tonight in that building, and it'll be loud and it'll be great. Tomorrow, Drew Holiday will be on the show. Is right.
Stud.
Enjoy your Wednesdays. See y'all tomorrow.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.